Would a crocodile play basketball? Saltwater crocodiles are the largest crocodiles in the world. They have huge jaws and lots of teeth. They live in the rivers, by the jungle and in the sea. Imagine if a crocodile came to stay. What would he do? What if a crocodile went to the fun fair? He would have fun riding on a spooky ghost train, but he wouldn't be very frightened. There are few animals in the jungle that are brave enough to fight a crocodile. He's too big and scary. Would a crocodile enjoy a snowball fight? No, he would be a cross croc. Crocodiles are reptiles, and reptiles cannot move when they're very cold. Chilly crocs have to snooze until the sun comes out and warms them up. But a cold croc might make a good snow croc. Could a crocodile play basketball? Yes, he could shoot a ball through the hoop, no problem. The biggest crocodiles are 6 meters long. They can run, stand up on their back feet, and even leap into the air. Crocodiles can run faster than most people. What if a crocodile was very hungry? He might begin with a meal of mouthful of stones. Crocodiles swallow stones to help grind up the food in their stomachs. Then he would tuck into a giant plate of food. He could eat 500 kilograms in one go. That's about 5,000 ham sandwiches. Would a crocodile like to play with teddies? He might have huge, powerful jaws, but a crocodile would be gentle with teddies. Crocodiles don't have pushchairs for their babies, so in the jungle they carry their babies down the river in their enormous mouths. Some crocodile dads watch over their babies to keep them safe. What if a crocodile visited a castle? He could swim in the moat, or he might pretend to be a knight. His skin is covered in scales and is almost as strong as a suit of armour. The large scales on crocodiles' backs have plates of bone inside them. Even another crocodile has trouble biting through them. What would a crocodile like to do for fun? He would enjoy a game of crazy golf, but he wouldn't need a golf club. He could whack the ball with his mighty tail instead. Crocodiles need strong tails because they use them for swimming in the rivers, especially when they're chasing fish. They also use their tail as a handy weapon. What would a crocodile do if he lost a tooth? He could leave one of his big shiny teeth to the tooth fairy. Crocodiles have about 66 teeth, but if one tooth falls out, a new one grows to replace it. A crocodile grows about 3,000 teeth in its lifetime. That's about 60 times more teeth than you will ever have. That's a lot of money from the tooth fairy. Would a crocodile enjoy a sleepover? Crocodiles don't like to sleep in beds. They prefer to sleep in water. He would have to find a watery place that's big enough for him to stretch out. Everyone would need to tiptoe around him, as crocodiles have incredible hearing even underwater. It's not a good idea to disturb a sleeping crocodile. For more information about saltwater crocodiles, Crocodile is pointing to the places where he lives. Can you see where you live? There are 13 types of crocodile and 2 types of alligator. There were crocodile-like animals living alongside the dinosaurs millions of years ago. Saltwater crocodiles lay up to 90 eggs in a huge nest near the riverbank. Male crocodiles can grow twice as big as females. Crocodiles can live a long time. They may live to be as old as 100. And saltwater crocodiles are the largest reptiles in the world. Greetings from Australia. I'm on my way home now and I can't wait to dive into the lovely lagoon and go fishing. Thank you for looking after me. I had lots of fun at the fair, but my favourite holiday treat was crazy golf. I can't wait to teach my crocodile friends how to play. Love, Crocodile. So the book that I read this week is called Could a Crocodile Play Basketball and Other Questions, and it is non-fiction, all about crocodiles in that lovely question and answer style way. So if you haven't watched it, then head over and have a watch. That's a great little bit of information you can learn about crocodiles there. Hence the crocodiles in my slides today. So today we are going to have a look at some reading and some writing. We're going to look at some spelling, and specifically we are going to look at the grapheme A. Now, a grapheme is a letter or a group of letters that come together to make a sound called a phoneme within words. So today, all of the graphemes that we are focused on make the A sound. There are lots of different ways that that can be made. So let's have a little look and let's help Croc sort some words by grapheme. So as you can see across the top, there are 5 different ways that we can make A, AI together, AY together, A by itself, AE as a split digraph, and we'll talk about that when we get there, and AE together. At the bottom there are some words. Have a little look, pause the video if you need to, and let's see if we can work out where the different words fit and identify the different A sounds in those words. Okay, so let's start with train. It has an A and an I together, so it goes here. Brilliant. Baby is next. Can you identify what's making the A sound in the word baby? B-A-B-E. Baby. It is an A by itself. Well done. Delay. Delay is the next word, and it's A-Y. Well done. A. Stray. That's tricky at the beginning. Stray is A-Y. It's at the end of the word. Well done. As is way. Well done. It's a w, not a w. W-A. Way. Nice job. Estate is next, and that's one that's got a split digraph in it. So the A and the E are split apart by another letter, and we hear another sound after the A in the base word. Contain is next, and that is A-I. Bacon. Bacon. It's the A all by itself in that one. Steak. Steak. Like the sort of steak that you would eat potentially, and that is E-A. And then paint is the last one, which is A-I. Wow, you did a brilliant job. Well done. As we can see, there are some more common ways and there are some rarer ways of making the different A sound, the different A phoneme. And the A-I, generally as a rule of thumb, is the most common one that comes in the middle of a word. It's always worth a try. AY generally comes at the end of a word, although there are some other words where it is in the middle, like the word crayon, it is thrown in the middle. But the English language is so tricky that we can only sort of go by a general rule of thumb. A by itself and AE are much less common, and the split digraph A, as a general rule of thumb, if it's a root word and we hear another sound after it, then we can use that as one. So in estate, we hear a t at the end of the A, and therefore that t is what splits that A up. It's a bit tricky, but once you get your head around it, it makes perfect sense. So let's have a little look. Oh, Greedy Croc has eaten all of the A graphemes. Oh, that book did say that crocs were greedy and they needed lots of food. And here he's eaten all of the A graphemes in our words. I have put a little help bit next to it that says where we would find the different A's. So if it's in the middle, it will be one of 2. We can sort of work out which one we think it might be. If it's split, then it can only really be the one. If it comes at the end, then it's more likely to be one than the other. So we can use that to help us. So have a little look at all the different words and all the different snap marks and see if you can work out which A grapheme is missing. If you need a little bit of extra time, then pause the video, that's fine. Okay, I will tell you that the first word is pain. The first word is pain. The A sound is in the middle and is a common way of doing it. It is the A-I one. Well done. The next word is rain. It's in the middle and it is the common way of doing it. It's A-I. Well done. The next word is play. This A one isn't in the middle. This is at the end. and it is the most common way of doing it is A-Y, well done. The next word then is ape. Now that is a split digraph. That is the one where we hear the P after the A, so that is the something F, the split digraph one. Oh, the number 8 is next, and this is a really uncommon way of making the A sound. It doesn't happen very often. It is the E-I-G-H one. Mistake is next, and we can tell from those snap marks that it is indeed the split digraph A. Well done. Apron is next. Now, it's A and it's at the beginning of a word. It generally is going to be the A by itself, although not always, because in the word aim, it is A-I. But in this case, it is just one letter, so it is the A. Break is next. And it would be lovely if it was the common way of doing it, but it's not. But it is in the middle, so it's the other one. It is E-A, break. Similar to the word steak when we did that. Reindeer is next. This is a really uncommon way of doing the A sound. It is E-I. Well done if you managed to get that. And then the next one is grape. And you can tell from the way that those digraph snaps are that that has got to be a split digraph. And that grapheme there. Amazing. Some of those were tricky, but I think you did a really good job. We could go back, we could play again, you could rewind a bit, but I think that you did a super job there. Now, for the next bit, we are going to need a piece of paper or something to write on and something to write with, because we are going to have a go at filling in the gaps of some words that Croc has eaten that have the A graphemes in. So pause the video, go and find yourself something to write with and something to write on, and then come back and join me and we'll have a go at writing some of those A graphemes. So hopefully you have got your something to write with and your something to write on. Now let's have a look at what it is that we are going to write. I'm going to read it through once, and then I'll read it through again and I will pause at the words that have graphemes missing. You can do it one of two ways. Either you can have a go at writing the whole thing, or you can just have a go at writing the words with the A graphemes missing. It's completely up to you. It depends on the level of challenge that you're ready for and what's challenging for you. But let's have a read of it first. Croc is in a lot of pain because he broke his tooth while playing a game. There were 8 cheeky monkeys running away. When Croc snapped his jaw, they could hear his tooth break. Okay, so I will read it through again and I will pause at the word and I will repeat it again. If you are going to write all of it, you might want to hide your screen so that you can't see it, and you'll probably want to pause it a bit more regularly because I talk really quick. If you're just doing the word, then you'll have enough time to do that. But if you need to pause it because you don't, then that's absolutely fine too. Okay, let's get going. Croc is in A. And if you look, there is one star, which shows that there is one letter in that word. So there's only one way that we had of making A that was only one letter. That'll be that one. The Croc is in a lot of pain. It's in the middle of the word, and it is the most common way of doing it as well. I will give you a little bit of help with that one. So Croc is in a lot of pain because he broke his tooth while playing. Ooh, that's a long old word. P-L-A-ing. P-L-A-ing. Have a little go. Now remember that the root word there is play, and then the ing comes on the end. So P-L-A. So the A sound comes at the end of the word. Okay. So Croc is in a lot of pain because he broke his tooth while playing A. All by itself. I'm giving you no more time for that. Game. G-A. Now you can hear the digraph after it. Can you have a go at writing that one? That's a tricky one, but it is a split digraph one. Can you have a go at writing it? There were 8. Oh, that was that horrible one that didn't happen very often, only really used for numbers and the odd of the words. So 8. There were 8 cheeky monkeys running away. A. The A is at the end. Cracking, well done. When Croc snapped his jaw, they could hear his tooth break. See if you can remember back to earlier on, we had break and steak, and they both used a weird A sound in the middle of the word. Okay, and one more time, all the way through. Croc is in a lot of pain because he broke his tooth while playing a game. There were 8 cheeky monkeys running away. When Croc snapped his jaw, they could hear his tooth break. Okay, hopefully you have had a really good try at the different words and the different A sounds. I'm going to show you the words that were missing now, so you can have a look and you can check your spelling against them. You could always redo that and you could practice again, or you could try and write your own little bit containing lots of A words and see whether or not you can identify which one it might be. Here's the answers. I hope you did really well, but if you didn't, we just need a bit more practice, and that's fine. I think you did a cracking job today. Well done. Whatever you do for the rest of your day, have a great day. Bye-bye. So today we are going to be comparing 2 numbers. We'll do a little bit of that by just discussing the numbers, and then we'll also look at the signs and symbols that can be used to compare 2 numbers. Before we do that, let's have a quick recap of the place value of 3-digit numbers. So here is my number, and it has hundreds, tens and ones. Now in this case, this number doesn't actually have any tens, it has 0 tens. So this is 904. But if I were to add another number to it, so if I were to add this one, I've kept it super similar. This one has 9 hundreds, 2 tens and 4 ones. Now my 2 tens, I can count in tens, 10, 20, so 924. When I'm reading off my number, I just have to remember that if it's 3 digits, it's going to be hundreds first, then tens, and then ones afterwards. And the last 2, the tens and the ones, are exactly the same as they are when they're not hundreds numbers. So you can look and you can spot what it would be and then just add the hundreds onto the front of it. So let's have a little practice with this one and this one. So I added 2 more numbers, 456 and 379. And when we're thinking about those numbers, we can consider what that actually means by showing them as a bit of a drawing. So we can look at how many tens or how many ones or how many hundreds a number has, and we can then represent that as a drawing, because sometimes that's a bit easier than trying to remember it always as just a number. Sometimes it's easier to visualize it if we draw it. So if we have the number 231, then we can draw it as 2 hundreds, 3 tens and 1 left over. Now, the reason that I used squares to draw it is because the square is made up of 10 of the lines, and it just shows that 100 is much, much bigger than a 10. And then the same goes here. We could have 10 little dots would be the same as one of our lines. So 10 is much bigger than 1, which is important when it comes to comparing numbers, because when we look to compare 2 numbers together, we need to consider first the hundreds, whether they are the same or whether they are different, then the tens, and then the ones, because those hundreds are so much bigger. So if I have the number 231 and then I have the number 131, if I draw it, then you can see the difference, because this has two huge bits, 200s, and this only has one of those. So this number is significantly bigger than the one below, even though the tens and the ones are the same. So first we look at the hundreds, then we compare the tens, and then we compare the ones if we need to. If the hundreds are different, if one is bigger than the other, we don't need to move on to the tens. If they're the same, then we do. And if the tens are bigger, we don't have to move on to the ones, and the same. So we're only ever really looking at one column will give us the answer. Let's have a little go at comparing some numbers. I'll write some down, we'll have a little look, and we'll see if we can work out which one is bigger. Okay, so here is my first example. I have 452 and 571. So remember, we always start by looking at the hundreds first. And if I look at the hundreds, then this one has 5 and this one only has 4. I know that 5 is bigger than 4, therefore this number is bigger. I don't have to look at any of the other digits because we know that hundreds are a lot more. So 571 is bigger than 452. Okay, what about in this one? What about if I do this one? Now this time they both start with 3, they both have 300, so we do need to move to the next column, we do need to look to the tens. Now this one has 7 tens and this one has 8 tens, so this one is the bigger number. 80 is bigger than 70, so this one is bigger. 384 is bigger than 371. What about if it was like this? What about if it was like this? So here they both have 500s, they both have 8 tens, so we have to go to the ones. Now this one has 4 ones and this one has 3 ones. So this one here is the bigger number. 584 is bigger than 583. It's actually only one bigger, but it is still bigger. So if the 100 number is different, that's the one. If the number is the same, then we look to the tens column. And if the tens numbers are different, the bigger one shows the bigger number. If the tens are also the same, then we have to look to the ones, and we do exactly the same. We're going to have a look at the representation, the sign, the symbol that we can use to show which number is bigger. And it links beautifully. It's all to do with snap, snap, snappy teeth. So the sign for greater than and less than look like this. There are 2 of them. And the reason that I say that it links to my story about the selfish crocodile is because for me, the easiest way to remember which way round it needs to go is to add some teeth and remember it as something super snappy. So I'll add the teeth and then I'll show you. So here are my greater than and less than signs with some big old crunchy teeth. And basically all I remember is that the crocodile was greedy, and so he will always eat the bigger number. So if we have 2 numbers and the number on this side is bigger, then the sign will go this way round. And if the number on this side is bigger, then the sign will go this way round. Now, as a maths convention, we shouldn't really draw it with snappy teeth. It is just the line, but that helps me to remember. So let me show you, let me give you an example. So if I have the numbers 482 and then I have the number 471, well, we can compare these. The hundreds are the same, but the tens aren't. This one has more tens, so this is the bigger number. A crocodile likes to munch the bigger number. So the sign goes that way round. Bigger side, bigger number. Simple as that. If the number were to be 552 and 554, then this time, this one is the bigger number because 550 is the same, but this is 2 and this is 4. So this time, this one is the bigger one. So this time, it will be the other way around. Bigger side, bigger number, munch, 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 munch. Likes the big numbers. There's one more, and it is basically as simple as this. This means equal. It means is the same as. So if you have two numbers that are identical, that are the same, then you show that they are the same by using the equal sign. So munch, 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 bigger side, bigger number. Simple as that. Let's have a look at some comparisons of numbers and you can have a go and then I will show you the answer afterwards. So let's start with 289 and 198. Which one is bigger? 289 because it has two hundreds. The other one only has 100. So which way round do the greater less than signs go? Yeah, absolutely. Bigger side, bigger number. Okay, we've got 178 and 188. Now they have the same hundreds. So we're looking at the tens. 188 is the bigger one. So it'll go this way around. Absolutely, well done. Okay, 700 and, oh, that's mean. 753 and 735. They look really similar, but they're not. You're right, 753 is bigger. So the sign goes that way around. Well done. Bigger sign, bigger number. Bigger side. Didn't articulate that very well. Okay, 551 and 155. Mean because it's using the same numbers, but we know that hundreds are big. So if it's got 500s, that's significantly bigger than only having one. So that must be the bigger one. So the symbol goes that way around. Absolutely. Okay, one more. 863 or 864. Oh, they're so close together. 864 will be a tiny bit bigger. So the sign goes that way round. Brilliant. And 565 and 565. Oh, can you remember what that would be? Absolutely. They're the same. They're equal. So the sign is equal because that just means is the same as. Wow, you did an amazing job with that. So we can remember our signs and symbols. So this is greater than or more than this. This is less than this. And these are equal or the same. Oh no, I think that greedy crocodile has been around. He's munched half of my numbers. No, I am of course being silly, but I wondered if we could have a think about what could go on the other side of my signs that I have. Now, this one only has one option because this sign means is the same as, absolutely. So on the other side of this, it has to balance, it has to be equal. So this one must be 491. That is the only thing that can go there, 491. But for the others, there are so many different numbers that could go there. For this one, does the number have to be bigger or smaller than 482? Remember, bigger side, bigger number. Right, so this is the bigger side, is the bigger number. So on the other side, we would need to put a number that was smaller than 482. Can you think of 3 numbers that you could put on the other side? $481 would be one less. 100 would be lots less. 8 would be even less than that. Any of those numbers would work. I could have any number from 481 down. And then this one, the number is 552. Does the number that we're looking at, the one for the other side, does it need to be bigger than or smaller than? Greater than or less than? bigger number. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It's a munchy number. It's a big number. It needs to be bigger than 552. See if you can think of 3. 553. 600. 999. Any number that is bigger than 552, so anywhere from 553 up would be bigger and would fit in there. Oh, I have one final challenge for you, and it is a challenge. Let's see if I do this, if I have that. Right. Oh, what about if I have this? So I have my number is smaller side, than 123. And 863 is greater than it, so it's smaller than that as well. In which case, anything from 122 down would absolutely work. So 101 would fit in there, because 123 is greater than that, and that is less than that. Wow, that was a bit complicated, wasn't it? Great job. Hi. So in today's science session, we are going to have a think about labelling the different parts of various different animals. So before we get started, let's recap 5 different animal groups. This might help us a little bit later on. So 5 different animal groups. We've got mammals, reptiles, amphibians, birds, and fish. And when we do our labelling today, we're going to take an example of each, 2 mammals, because we're also going to look at humans. I'll put a blank version up on the screen so that you can see which bits we are going to focus on. And then I will put the one up with the labels after I've given you a little bit of time to have a think for yourself, and we'll have a discussion about the different parts. Now, keeping in mind some of the characteristics of the 5 different groups of animals, we'll be able to work out what some of the parts are and what their function is, and why some groups of animals need certain features and others don't. So you don't need anything today, we'll just have a discussion and we'll go through it. It is important to say that these 5 animal groups aren't conclusive. That's not everything. Not all animals fit into those 5 different animal groups, but it's an awful lot of them, and it's enough for now. Let's get started with a reptile. So let's get started with a reptile, and that reptile is a crocodile. So let's have a look at the different arrows that we've got there. There are 3 on the left and 4 on the right. So have a little look and see if you can work out what some of those arrows might be. Now, I read a book this week called Could a Crocodile Play Basketball? It's not a story as such, it's a non-fiction book, but done in a really informal way. And there are some fab facts about saltwater crocodiles in there. So if you haven't watched that, then hop over, go and watch that, because that's a really good way of learning more about crocodiles. We'll just brush over them briefly with the labels here. Okay, so let's start at the top then. At the top, the crocodile has a tail. Lots of the animals within the animal kingdom do. It will be a recurring theme that we will see. The crocodiles, the reptiles, have tails for protection and stability as well. And then if we come to the one that's underneath that, then he has claws. So at the end of his toes, he has claws. So his feet have claws at the end, and they're sharp, and they need to be sharp because a crocodile is a predator and needs to hunt. They obviously have very sharp teeth, but they equally need more than just their teeth. They need their claws as well. And then if we hop over to the other side, then he has hind legs. His back legs are called hind legs, and they are powerful. They are really strong. You'll notice that the back legs, the rear legs, are much meatier, much more muscly than the front legs, and that's because the power comes from the back. The front ones are for direction and the back ones are for power. And then if we come to the next one underneath, his back is full of scales. The scales on a crocodile are actually armoured. They actually contain bone, and they are hard, and that makes them a really difficult animal to be prey. It makes them very hard and it gives them like an outer, almost like an outer shell, but it's obviously in little bits. But yeah, reptiles are scaly, they are covered in scales, and they are part of their armour that helps to protect them. Then if we come right down to the bottom one on the left hand side, that is his snout. Lots of animals have a snout. A snout is made up of the nose and mouth area, and he has nostrils. Now, reptiles live on land, therefore they have lungs and they need to breathe air. So reptiles have nostrils in order to be able to do that. If we come down around the bottom bit, then he has sharp teeth. Now, we talked about the fact that the crocodile was a predator, needed to be able to catch prey and to eat, and obviously sharp teeth are going to allow them to do that. They also again make them more intimidating and therefore is another way of protecting themselves. And then their eyes are the last label that we didn't yet talk about. Obviously it's important for crocodiles to have good eyesight, as it is for lots of animals, but any predator needs to have good eyesight because they rely on that to be able to hunt. If they don't, then there are other senses that will be heightened, but generally you will find that they have very good eyesight. If we track back to their teeth, we talked about how important those teeth were, but as a human, we get two sets of teeth. We get an infant set, we get baby teeth, and then we get an adult set. And then that's it. And if our adult teeth fall out, then we don't have them. But a crocodile, if they lose a tooth, they will grow a new one. So a crocodile can expect to have thousands of teeth in their lifetime because they just renew and replenish. That's pretty fascinating. I like that fact about crocodiles. Let's move on. Let's have a look at the duck. So the duck obviously falls under the bird category. Sometimes ducks can fly. Generally they can, but if they're kept as pets, then their wings are clipped, or one wing is clipped to make them uneven, and therefore they can't. But remember, not all birds can fly, but all birds do have wings. Definitely just gave one of those away. Let's have a look. Okay, so if we start at the top, then we can label the eye and the head. The head isn't labelled, but that's where we're at. The nose, a duck doesn't have a nose, it has a bill or a beak. A bird would have a beak, but in a duck, particularly a mallard duck, would be called a bill. Now, this is used for eating. It's sharp. So if you got bitten by a duck, then it would be quite a sharp nip because it's quite hard, and it needs to be hard because it doesn't have those big sharp teeth that the crocodile had. So it needs to be able to grab using something else. So it has a hard bill. Then we come down to the wing. Even flightless birds have wings. It was one of the things that made them a bird. And then if we just pop up to the top, they also had feathers. So in order for it to be a bird, it had to have wings and it had to have feathers. Feathers on a duck are similar to the feathers on a penguin in that they are waterproof to help keep them warm. Obviously, when you get wet, you often get cold, so they have their waterproof feathers to help keep them warm. They also have a tail and their feet are webbed. Now, webbed feet means that the bits in between their toes, if you like, have bits of skin in between. I wonder why they have webbed feet. To help them to swim. The water would just run straight through them and they wouldn't get the resistance that they need against the water to be able to move. So ducks' feet are webbed, and that means that they can have a bigger surface area to move through the water. What a clever animal. Okay, let's move on. Super speedy. Let's have a look at the fish. Now remember that the bird and the reptile both live on land and both breathe air. The fish doesn't. The fish lives exclusively in water and doesn't need to breathe air. So it doesn't have lungs in the same way as the reptile, as the bird, and as other animals that live on land and breathe air. If we look at the top, then he has a gill. That's a weird word, a gill. Now, that gill, or those gills, he has one on either side, those gills are for breathing. They are what help them to breathe and therefore stay alive under the water. They don't breathe in the same way, but that's how they do it. That's what they need. We then have labelled the eyes and the mouth, but obviously not a nose because they have the gills instead. And then there's an awful lot of fins labelled. So at the bottom we've got a pectoral fin and a pelvic fin. And then at the top there are dorsal fins. And all of those fins and the tail, in fact, they all have slightly different jobs and they all help the fish to move through the water. Obviously it doesn't have arms or legs, so the fins work in different ways to help the fish to get around. And then fish are covered in scales. So they don't have skin, they don't have fur, they don't have hair, they have scales. Just like the crocodile, you are right. Or let's have a look at the frog. Now a frog falls under the amphibian family. So they live sometimes in water and sometimes on land. Maybe that will help you with what some of them might be. Okay, let's have a look. So, if we start at the top, he has big old eyes and a mouth and a nostril, which leads me to believe that a frog must have lungs. Interesting. They also have the forelegs, the front legs, the smaller ones, and the hind legs, the meatier, fatter ones, just like the reptile did. And they have webbed feet like the duck did, because they need those webbed feet to be able to swim through the water effectively. Frogs don't have skin. We might think that frogs would be covered in scales, but in actual fact they're not. Frogs are covered in skin. And then the fancy name for the rest of their body, or the correct anatomical name for the rest of their body, is a torso. Humans have a torso too. I wonder if you could find yours. So the amphibian has a mix of different features from the other animals that we've looked at, linked to the things that it needs to be able to do. Okay, let's have a look at the lion then. So this one is a mammal. This one is a mammal, like a human, but it obviously has some features that humans don't have. So let's have a look and see what we think we've got. Now, we talked about eyesight being super important for the crocodile because it was a predator. It's the same for the lion. So it has eyes and ears. It has a mane and a nose. Or if it has a nose, then it breathes air and also has lungs. Spot on. You'll need lungs if it's going to breathe air. And then the one underneath the nose, we'll work our way around. It says leg. Now, a lion has 4 legs. And similarly to the frog and to the crocodile, it actually does have 4 legs and hind legs. So those back legs are the ones for power and the front ones are for direction. Exactly the same as those other animals. It also has claws and it has sharp teeth in its mouth. If we think back to the crocodile, then we can link the two together because they're obviously tools that are needed for hunting because they are predators. It has a tail, like lots of the other animals in the animal kingdom. It has a tail. It has whiskers. Now the whiskers on a domestic cat help it not to get stuck. So its whiskers are sensitive and it can feel when things are close to them. So for a domestic cat, the idea is that they wouldn't put their head somewhere where their whiskers wouldn't go. Their whiskers are meant to be as wide as their body. So for a lion, their whiskers, their sensitive whiskers, will be another way, as well as their hearing and their eyesight, to know when something is close. Animals are clever. And then the last label there says fur, because lions are mammals and mammals are covered in fur or hair. And that leads us on to the last one, which is a human. Initially the outside of a human, and a human is a mammal, and it's super important to remember that we are mammals and that we are covered in a thin layer of hair. You might not be able to see the hair on your arms, but maybe if it gets cold, then the hairs might stand up to try and keep you warm and you might see them then. But they are there. It's not only on our heads that we might have hair, because we are indeed mammals. So let's have a look. So at the top we have the head and the eyes and the nose and the ears and the mouth. Oh, a nose and a mouth. We breathe air because we're mammals, and internally we have lungs, and we'll look at that in just a second. And then we have the neck and the shoulders and the arms. And technically our arms are made up of multiple parts. There is the upper arm and the forearm, just like in the other animals. We had the different types of legs. Now we have arms and legs, but if we were to look at evolution, then it sort of evolves over time. We have that torso too, and then there are hands and wrists and fingers and thumbs and knuckles, where the finger bones join, knuckles. We've got hips and knees. That bone at the front of our leg at the bottom is called our shin bone. The top bit of our leg is called a thigh. And we've got the ankle and the foot and the toes. There are other bits as well. I bet that you could label more of them. If you get chance, draw around yourself or draw a person and see how many of the different bits you could label. Or you could get some sticky notes or some like paper and tape, and you could stick them to somebody that you know and see how many different parts you can label. How sticky would they be? Okay, there's one last one, and it's inside the human. So the organs are the internal bits that help our body to function and to work. And on here we have just a few. So inside the skull, so the skull is hard, and inside there is our brain. The skull's job is to protect the brain, and that's where all of the thinking and the emotions and the senses to make everything happen come from. Then we have our heart and our lungs. Now our lungs actually give way to our heart. One of our lungs is slightly smaller than the other. There's one on each side. One is slightly smaller to make way for the heart. And around them we have a rib cage, which again is bones, and that's job is to protect the lungs and the heart. Then a little bit further down we have the stomach and the liver and the intestines. There are two intestines. There's a large one and there's a small one, and all of the food that we eat will go through those and be processed, and the nutrients will come out into our bodies to help keep us healthy. I think you've done an incredible job at labelling all the different parts of the various different animals today. Whatever you're doing, have a great day.
Hello and greetings, Angel students. So today I would like us to talk about, think about and discuss some of the ways that we think about ourselves, and in doing so, what are the words that we use when we're thinking about ourselves. Now, why does that even matter? It matters because how you speak about yourself, the words that sometimes we will just say, we will just use, we will just think, they are extremely powerful, and they can have what we call ripple effects within us. So it's extremely important to think about and to be aware of what words we use to describe ourselves. It's important to think about how you would describe your best friend or someone that you absolutely love and enjoy spending time with them. You would usually use very nice words, wouldn't you? Kind words, words that describe them in a lovely way, in a loving way, in a happy way. You may describe someone as happy, as kind, as funny. That's what I mean. What are some of the words that you use when you think about, describe, or talk about you? Have a think about that for me. In today's lesson, we are going to go through 3 words that are describing words, and we're going to break those words down. It's going to give you a much deeper understanding of the importance of what words you use when you describe yourself or think about yourself. So the first word we're going to have a look at is about to come across your screen now. Okay, can you see that? That word is adventurous. When you see that word, when you hear that word, when you read that word, how does it make you feel? What does it make you think of? Does it make you think of adventure? Does it make you think of going on an adventure? Packing a big bag, pulling on your welly boots and going off on an adventure? Does it make you think maybe about travelling on an aeroplane or doing something really brave? What we're going to do now is have a look at what the definition of adventurous is and have a look at all the other words that you can use to describe being adventurous, because maybe adventurous is not one that you would think, I don't really consider myself as adventurous, and that's okay. But you will find that one word can be turned into so many, and you can use those words to think in ways that help you improve everything you do by watching and paying attention to the words you use when describing yourself. So let's see. Okay, so are you ready to have a look at some of the other words? Because if adventurous isn't you, I bet one of these will be. And as always, I would love you to get your notebook and your pen, and if any of these words make you feel good, they make you feel happy, they make you smile maybe, you can note those words down. And when it comes to the end, I'm going to give you a very, very simple way of using those words to help you remember exactly who you are. Okay, so now you can see the definition as well as a few other words that explain what adventurous is. All the other words that you can use. So maybe off of that list, one of those words is what makes you feel way more excited about that term. And if that's the case, pause the video and write those words down. So what is adventurous? How would you describe adventurous? Well, the official definition is someone who is happy to take risks and to try new methods, ideas, and experiences. So we're going to break that down with a few other words, and this is where I would like you to write down what words make you feel good inside, make you feel happy, bring you some kind of enjoyment, and that in turn is your body telling you, yes, that's us, that's that one. Okay, so when you feel that and you have maybe a little smile on your face or makes you do a little dance, please write that word down, because that is describing the greatness and the qualities in you. Okay, so some words that would describe somebody who is adventurous are bold, courageous, and brave. So do you consider yourself to be somebody that's bold? If you're asked to do something, you'll put up your hand, you'll be one of the first to put up your hand and say, yeah, I'll do that. You're bold enough to do that. You're bold enough to step forward and take one for the team and show your qualities, show your talents. Do you consider yourself bold? Does that word bring joy to you? The next word is courageous. Are you full of courage? Are you happy to try new things? Are you somebody that likes to take risks to see if this will work? If I try this, I bet I could do this. Because you're adventurous enough, you're bold enough, you're willing to take the risk to see exactly what will happen. And the last one we mentioned was brave. And you can see how that's very similar to courageous, because when you're brave, you're willing to try something different. You're willing to try something new. Even if something seems quite challenging for you, you are happy to do it because you are brave. Nothing is going to stop you. Nothing is going to get in your way because you're adventurous. Seeing what will happen and being brave about it will only make you so much stronger, so much more courageous, and so much more bold when it comes to doing things in the future. So, would you call yourself adventurous? Do you like how that sounds? If any of those words evoked any lovely, warm, happy feelings within you, please take a moment to write them down, because remember, we're going to come back to them. Okay, have you added to your list? I hope you have. All right, the next word I have for you today is proud. Proud. Isn't that a lovely word? Are you proud of you? Do you have people around you that you're proud of? Do you do things that make you proud of yourself? I hope you do. I'm sure you do. So proud. I hope you can see that clearly on the screen there for you. So coming up next is the definition, the meaning. What does proud mean exactly? So here we go. Proud, or to be proud, is having a high and generous view of yourself. You think great about yourself. You think highly about yourself. You think wonderful, good, positive things about yourself because you are proud of yourself. You are proud to be you. You are proud of who you are, and you are proud of how you do things. All right, so get that notebook ready, please. Ready? We're going to go through 3 words again. And remember, when a word jumps out, when a word makes you feel good, when a word makes you smile even if it's from the inside, if it makes you feel good in a smiley, in a happy, in a warm, in a glowing way, I'd like you to write it down. And the words are all going to be there so you can see them, so you can write them down, okay? The first one is grateful. Oh, isn't grateful a lovely word? Grateful. Now we're going to come back and I'm going to have an entire video on gratitude, but for now, grateful. And grateful, you know, of course, when somebody does something for you or something amazing happens for you and you say thank you because you're thankful. So you're grateful for what's been done. You're grateful for what somebody said. You're grateful for the help somebody gave you. Another word is content, which is kind of like being happy, being content with the things you have, the things you do, the things you get to do, the things you get to experience, being content within yourself. And lastly, satisfied. Satisfied. You know, like when you have a nice big bowl of food, when you enjoy a nice hearty breakfast or dinner, and you're absolutely satisfied, like that was just the right amount, that had just flavors, and you're satisfied. So once you've written the words, if any, that you really liked, that you felt, yeah, that describes me, I feel that. So we had grateful, content, and satisfied. And those are all words to describe proud and being proud of yourself. And lastly, this is one of my favorites, and I hope you like this one too. The last one coming up, it's coming. There you go, is loving. Loving. We all need love. The world needs love. And I would like to take a moment to let you know that you are loved. You are absolutely and entirely lovable. You are love. You give love. You deserve love. You receive love. And as I said, I'm going to say it again. You are entirely and absolutely lovable. Let's have a look at the definition of loving, which should come across your screen any second now. Okay, and we have great at showing love and care to those around you. Great at showing love and care to those around you. So have your pen ready again to write down any of the words that make you feel lovely. We have generous. Are you generous? Do you find that you're generous? Do you have people around you that are generous? Do you have friends or family that share with you, that teach you, that show you things, that help you with things that you don't necessarily know how to do? Do you have generous people around you that you can look at and say, oh, that person's generous? Because a lot of the time, if you can see wonderful and beautiful qualities in other people, it's because you already have them within you. So we have generous as the first one, and we have caring as the next one. Caring. To be caring is to be loving. Remember the meaning? Great at showing love and care to those around you. I'm sure you're very caring. I'm sure you like to receive and give hugs. I'm sure you care about those around you, and if they needed your help, or if a friend of yours at school wasn't feeling very well, you would be caring and you would help and you would do whatever you could to make them feel better, or perhaps find an adult that could help, who is able to give care that maybe you can't give at the time. But do you feel that that word describes you, all right? And last but never least, we have warm-hearted. Warm-hearted. Are you warm-hearted? Do you experience from other people that they're warm-hearted towards you? Being warm-hearted could mean any of these words that we've described, to be honest with you. Being warm-hearted is loving. Being warm-hearted means that you think and you feel and you act from a heart space, from a space of, if I needed this or if I wanted that, somebody would do it for me. Therefore, I'm willing to do. And I'm willing to treat other people how I would like to be treated. Loving, this is just my absolute favourite word. Okay, so now that you've got all your words written down, this is what we're going to do. And please, it doesn't matter if you've just got one or if you've got 5, it doesn't matter. I would like you to now write 2 words. I am, and then what we're going to do next is write down the words that you wrote down from the descriptions that you could see on the screen. So I'm going to go through them again one more time, okay? And they will come up for you as well, just one more time. So we had adventurous to begin with, and the words that we took from adventurous were bold, courageous, and brave. Then we had proud, and the words we took from proud were grateful, content, and satisfied. And last but never least, we had loving, and the words we took from that were generous, caring, and warm-hearted. Okay, so on your notepad, where you've written the words that you felt spoke to you, the words that you felt made you smile, and the words that you thought, yeah, that's me, that describes me, I like that, I think of myself in that way. This is what you're going to do. So this is the fun part, okay? This is the part that you're going to practice every day until the next lesson. And even then, if you remember, if you're willing, keep doing it, all right? So I want you to pick 3 of the words that most make you feel good. 3 of the words that make you feel like, yeah, that's me. And if it's not now, that's exactly how I want to be. That's exactly how I want to describe myself. And that's how I would like my friends and family to describe me too. So pick your 3, and you should have I am already written. So you're going to write that 2 more times now, please. I am, and I am. And next to each one, you're going to write the word you have chosen. So, shall I do it? Let me do what I would write, and then you've got an example. So the first one, if I were to pick from adventurous, I would pick I am brave, okay? And then if I were to pick from proud, I would pick I am grateful. And if I were to pick from loving, I would pick I am generous, all right? So from those, what I'm going to suggest and ask you to really consider doing once in the morning when you wake up, and then again in the night before you go to sleep. You're going to read those 3 things on your list. So for me, I would read I am brave, I am grateful, and I am generous in the morning. That's it. How quick that was. Not even 5 seconds long. I'm sure you can more than manage that. So as you choose these words, knowing that is how you feel about yourself, that is how you want to see yourself, you will eventually start to notice one day that is exactly who you are. That is exactly how people feel around you, and that is how they feel about you. But most importantly, that's how you feel about yourself. That's who you know that you are. You are courageous, you are bold, you are brave, you are generous, okay? And when you're saying it to yourself, you are reaffirming that you are all of those things on that list. I am are 2 of the most powerful words. So practice that for me, and I bet it makes a huge difference. Once again, Angel students, have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Hello everybody, Angel School. Let's do a quick breathing exercise before we do the training. Breathing in, hands up. Breathing in through your nose. Then relax your shoulders, elbow, hands pushed all the way down. Breathing out through your nose. One more time. Breathing in, collecting all the good energy into your body. Breathing out. Relax your shoulders. Whole body relax. Okay, let's start. Quick exercise for your joints. 1 foot wide. Raised and ankles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, exercise your knee joint. 1, all the way down. And keep your legs straight. 2, bend your knees. Legs straight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, relax your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Keep your elbow up. Open up your lungs. 1. Just good for your lung function. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One hand's up, one hand's down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For the elbow, look back. 1, breathing up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Relax your shoulders. Keep your arms straight. Slightly bend your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shoulders down, head up. Neck up. 1, slowly. 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll your shoulders 5 times, full circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And relax your back. Relax your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Last one. Slightly bend your knee. Hands up. Turn your body slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done. Let's do the basic punch first. Keep your foot point straight. Clench your fist. Elbow back. Push forward. Breathing out. Deep breathe in. Clench your fist. Breathing out when you punch. When you're breathing in, you're collecting energy into your body. When you're breathing out, release the power. 4. Feel the movement. 5. Reach out far as you can. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And little bit more power 10 times. 1. L1 punch. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, good. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one Kung Fu stretch. Marble stretch. 3.5 foot wide. 1, 2, 3.5. Keep your foot point straight. Bend your knee, push your knee up. Keep your back straight, sit as much as you can. Back straight, breathing in. Look forward. Breathing out to your body. 1. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Good. Now this one we call wake up the tiger and jogging, yeah? So good for your hips and back. Next stretch, Gongbu. 1 leg bend, 1 leg straight. 1. When you feel stretch, focus on your breathing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Change. Front leg bend, back leg straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So we did a 2 Kung Fu stance, marble and Gongbu, yeah? You can change. So from this one, change, back leg push the floor. 1, marble. 2, push the floor. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Make sure breathing out when you change. 10. Good. So this one is change from marble to gongbu, yeah? So this is like the technique. In between is very important. You learn how to relax hips, use your body movement. Now we're going to use the stance and the punch together. We did the punch early. Now we're going to put them together. Okay? Slightly bend your knees. Marble. And then one hand block. Yeah? Like chop and block. Clench your face, breathing in. And back leg, push the floor. Punch and breathing out. Then change direction, right hand block, clench your face, and elbow and punch. Yeah? Don't just punch, elbow and punch. 3, change, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. So we did the punch and we did the kung fu stance, and now we're going to put them together. So before we do the power punch with the stance, we're going to do 10 push-ups, squat jump. So hands on the floor, push-ups, and squat jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So this one's good for build up your upper body strength and your leg strength. Now we're going to do with the punch with kung fu stance. So just do 10 times. Keep your face on your waist. Deep breathing. Slightly bend your knees. Marble. Both leg bent. Body upright. Tailbone tucking. Left hand block. Clench your face. Elbow on the punch. And breathing out. 1. Change. Deep breathing. 2. Change. Deep breathing. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Good. When you're a little bit better, you can go a little bit lower. Front leg bend, back leg straight. In the beginning, you can a little bit higher, no problem. Okay? Let's do 3 breathing exercises. 2 foot wide. Foot going down, head going up. Arm straight, fingers straight. Take your hand till you feel stretch. Breathing in. Like a healing power to repair your body. Breathing out. Relax your shoulders, elbow, hands pushing down. Release the tension from your body. One more time. Like a moving meditation. at home practice by yourself, you can do 10 breathing every day. Yeah? This will help your concentration when you study. Well done.
Please like and subscribe so you can get more and more lessons.